Alright guys, welcome back. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is reversing a vector. Now, if you look at this vector here, clearly this would be the foot and this would be the head because the arrow always points towards the head. So this vector would be called RS. That vector would be called RS there. Now, the question is, what would be the column vector form for this vector here? So what we're going to do is put our finger at the foot of the vector and ask ourselves, is the vector moving to the right or is the vector moving to the left? Well, clearly the vector is moving to the right. So let's find out how many spaces the vector is moving to the right. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the right, and that would mean positive 4. Now, after that, we need to determine whether the vector is moving up or down. Well, clearly the vector is moving down. Let's find out how many spaces. 1, 2 spaces down. And because it's down, it would be negative 2. Now, what I'm going to do is very simple. I'm going to erase this arrow now and actually change the direction of the vector. And what I'm in fact doing is reversing the vector or reversing the direction of the vector. Now, when you look at this, what would this vector now be called? This vector here, clearly the foot of the vector would be here at S and the head would now be at R. So this vector would actually now be called SR. And now we need to figure out the column vector form for SR. Now I'm going to put my finger at the foot and then ask, is the vector moving to the right or is it moving to the left? Clearly the vector is moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to the left, and that means negative 4. Now, is the vector moving up? Is it going up or is it going down? Clearly the vector is going up 1, 2 spaces, and it's 2 spaces up, so that is positive 2. Now, when you compare RS and the column vector form with SR and the column vector form, you'll notice that the signs are changing. So this became negative and this became positive simply because we reversed the direction of the vector. And that is what happens when you reverse a vector, the signs change. Now, let's take a look at another example and see if it is consistent with that example. So I'm going to just draw this vector here. Just going to draw that vector, and I'm going to put the letter T here and the letter V there. So that vector would be called TV. That vector would be called TV. Why? Because this is the foot of the vector and the head is at V, so it will be called TV. Now, how is that vector moving? The vector is moving 1, 2, 3 spaces to the right, so that's a positive 3. And it's moving 1, 2, 3 spaces up, so that is also a positive 3. So that's the column vector form for TV. Now, if I go ahead and reverse this vector, then that vector would now be called VT, because this is now the foot and this is the head. So it would now be called VT. And then you need to ask yourself, how is that vector moving? So if I put my finger here, then clearly the vector is moving 1, 2, 3 spaces to the left. So that would be a minus 3. And it's now moving 1, 2, 3 spaces down, which also gives you a minus 3. So essentially, what is happening is this. When I reverse a vector, the signs change. So, in reversing a vector, if I have a vector called AB, it would be equal to the negative of BA. Okay, equal. Because obviously, for example, if I had a vector AB, and let's say for argument's sake that vector was minus 5 and 3, for AB, if I reverse AB, then I would get BA, and when I reverse AB to get BA, that would be 5 and negative 3. So in order for this to be equal to that, I'd have to negate it here, and that's what this means. All right? AB would be equal to the negative of its reverse. So if this is AB, and if it's reverse, it's that. So to be able to be equal to, it have to be negated. Okay, so that's what this is saying. But what is even more important to remember is that when you reverse a vector, the signs change. So if a vector is called DE and that vector is 8 minus 7, then ED would automatically be negative 8 and positive 7. Okay? If I have a vector called MY, which is 0 and minus 9, if I reverse this vector, I should get YM, and that should be 0, positive 9. Alright? So when you reverse a vector, the signs change. That has to stick in your head. Alright, guys? I'll see you guys soon.